Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good golly, Miss Molly. Yeah, welcome for the 1, 2, or maybe 0 people who will join me on this impromptu live stream. Not something I do terribly often. Tend to like my shows a little more prepared. Not that I can't speak off the cuff, because usually shutting me up is the problem. However, thought, what the hell? Let's no shows tonight of my own. I had a long, hard day, exhausting day. Thought, why not just? But I did have one good point about today, was I managed to hit a thrift store I didn't normally get the chance to in my quest to buy more physical media and rebuild my physical media library, which had been depleted over the years. So that was a neat thing to do, and I got some absolute bargains. And yeah, but it was a pretty tough day in many ways, personally. But you know, what can you do? But also sad news on the classic rock front with the passing of Robbie Robertson, Canadian guitarist, songwriter of the band fame, and obviously a solo career. Passed away at the age of 80. Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at it and talking about it with my wife, and Garth Hudson appears to be the only member of the band still with us from the original lineup. Anyway, and certainly he is. He's in his mid-80s, so time is taking its toll on all of us. It's a war of attrition, and it's certainly taken its toll of many of our classic rock's legendary figures in the last few years. The nature of the beast, that is, given that they're all getting on a bit. So anyway, yeah, if anybody happens to be out there and wants to say hello in the chat, let me know. But yeah, picked up a whole bunch of stuff today. And really, some of it was extremely reasonable. I got a few new things that were on sale in a store, but some of the stuff I got was like literally like $3 or less for Blu-rays, and $1 for a DVD kind of thing. Stuff like that. I even got a used VHS player, which they assured me was working, because I'm going to hook it up and play some of this VHS I've got. Welcome, Small Time Republic. Good evening to you. Yeah, he's Robbie Robertson was a major figure in music history, given the influence of the band, of which he was a huge component of course. Hard to quantify such impact, but especially this far down the line, but certainly a legendary and well-respected figure. So it was a sad time. You don't see these coming, do you? So, but anyway, I did do a video about it, appreciation tribute video, which I, in my inexpert, inelegant way, tried to sum up my feelings about it. So anyway, what did I get today in various stores? Well, I walked into a store, a new record store. Well, I say new, Sunrise. No, it's Canada's one and only kind of new record store left for new stuff. And right sitting there on the shelf on sale was a used 45 RPM single of one of my favorite artists of all time, Mike Oldfield. And the song that he did, which was later covered by Hall & Oates, Family Man. Really great. This is when he was kind of getting away from the long form stuff and trying to get, hey, Six, hey, Davina. Hope you enjoyed the Robbie Robertson. It's probably the best I could do, and given him A, knackered, and B, it's late in the day, and I'm not very eloquent. But yeah, this Mike Oldfield single, Family Man. I imagine Hall & Oates covering Mike Oldfield, but they did. Great record. And on this B-side is a live version of his batshit insane song Punkadiddle, which if you ever see him performing it live, it's just crazy. It's I mean, there's a video of it out there, him doing it live, and it's like Michaels, who was this like shy, reclusive nerd, and there he is, topless, doing this weird punk instrumental thing. It's nuts. Well, yeah, the lyrics are very odd for Hall & Oates, because it was written by Mike Oldfield originally. But fair play to them for covering it, I thought. And I'm a big Hall & Oates fan. I've got all the records. I'd seen them live a few times. This was a guilty secret of mine when I was into heavy rock. I was a big Hall & Oates fan. What can you say, you know? It's my secret. I'll let my secret out there. Yeah. I've been fixing to get tubular bells. That really doesn't come across right when you say it like that. I've been fixing to get tubular bells for a while. I wonder why this is showing up on the screen as this really weird font. That's bizarre. Where did this font come from? Well, now the thing about The Exorcist is that Mike Oldfield, so a history lesson for you good folks, because you all know what you're talking about. Mike Oldfield obviously wrote and recorded the album Tubular Bells in 1972, 71. First record ever released on Richard Branson's Virgin label, long form instrumental. Made Virgin's profits so they could continue as a record label, but they actually then reused it for the theme music for The Exorcist after the album had been out. So they obviously trimmed it and reworked it to fit into a movie. But that bit is very effective in The Exorcist. I mean, it worked perfectly. So it's often it's nice and thick. It's a thick font. Often it is associated with The Exorcist. People who don't know who Mike Oldfield is or Tubular Bells, but I guess he's not bothered because he's only got a fair chunk of change for that, you know. So yes, R.I.P. Robbie Robertson. Yeah, I tried to sum up my feelings about him in this video I did earlier, but you know, there's only so much an old man like myself can say without falling flat on my face on the desk. The Exorcist is a classic, and this font is not a classic. There's nothing classic about this font. I don't know what it is. Mike Oldfield's albums are superb, even to this day. I absolutely adore him as an artist. He did all this long-form instrumental stuff, Omadon, Hergest Ridge, QE2, Platinum, bunch of stuff, but he also does normal rock albums like Man on the Rocks a few years ago. Brilliant, full of really catchy rock songs because he's a great guitar player. Omadon is a beautiful album. He even reworked Omadon and did it as a variations type thing on it a few years ago. I love it when he does that. Reworks the old stuff, but he doesn't just re-record it. He does it different, completely different way of doing each piece, which he's putting some effort into it. Mrs. Flew, hello to you. I'm getting a real crowd. I thought there'd be 0 people watching me because there's all sorts of people on like Clobby and whatever, and I don't normally do this. It's good to see you. Amagami is Pink Floyd indeed. But Floyd and Mike Oldfield are intimately tied in musical terms in many ways, particularly because they all did film soundtracks. So I got that today, but I got a shitload of stuff in this thrift store, and it was a Veterans Association one, so I was very pleased to go there, being a veteran myself. So recently on Nick's Toxic Tuesday, we did Return of the Dragon, and lo and behold, for 50 cents, the VHS of Bruce Lee's Return of the Dragon, complete obviously with I can just put that on the screen with that great fight with the very hirsute. Yeah, Carrie had a good show. I'm glad to hear it. Antina Garcia, her husband, is a wonderful guest, and he was on my show. It was great. And you were there, I know. Yeah, so for 50 cents, I got the Return of the Dragon VHS. And as I say, I got a secondhand for $5 VHS player that they assured me works. So I'm going to hook that up tomorrow, because I got a bunch of VHS, including stuff I recorded years ago I've not been able to play. Also, I got Couldn't resist it. Hockey's Greatest Hits on VHS. That one I will be playing tomorrow if that machine works. This, God knows when this came out. Sometime in the 80s. And it's a full 35 minutes of Hockey's Greatest Hits. I'm really keen to see who's on that one. So that might be fun. There might be some bourbon and boarding material in there. Exactly. Brahma will indeed love that. Hey, Canadian Spider-Man buddy. Sorry you couldn't make the SCTV show, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway if you've watched it. Help him grow this channel, and I think he identifies as a him. Well, a him with a Y. Oh. That's probably the worst joke you'll hear all day or all night. Yeah, hockey hits are incredible. So also on the hockey front, though, one of my favorite movies for, again, a massive 50 cents on VHS, Mystery Alaska. Love this. I've even got some clips of it I use in Bourbon and Boarding. Wonderful, wonderful film. Great movie. Russell Crowe in a hockey movie. Come on, the guy's an Australian for starters. Hank Azaria, brilliant. And Mike Myers. Great, great stuff. So 2 hockey-related VHSs, and hopefully that machine I bought will work. Also, I got, though, the other day a different store where it was equally as good a bargain, given that we do the Canon Film Club. Charles Bronson in Death Wish 5. The face of death. Even his face can kill people. That second car is freaking. Is that any better? I don't know. Maybe I should get rid of it. I'll take it out for now. Colonoscopy. Now, there's probably YouTube videos of that, but not me. Not them. Yeah, Death Wish 5, The Face of Death. A very, very good copy. I mean, that was Canon. There must be like 10 million of these out there because Canon VHS rentals were the staple diet of VHS stores, those of us old enough to recall that. E-Clay, good to see you, buddy. It's a lovely little crowd going here. Thank you, everybody, for spending some time on a Wednesday night with me when there's probably so many other more interesting things. So the last VHS, though, was another Canon Films, King Solomon's Mines on VHS. Who needs Indiana Jones when you've got Alan Quatermain? Come on. On VHS as well. So another bargain. Yeah, you can get it on all sorts of other formats. That's not the point. They look good on the shelf, and I will be able to play them, I hope so. And I like to collect quirky VHSs, you know. WG, my friend. I don't know what to do with this font. I don't know why this font is like this. There was an update to Streamlabs and it just went crazy. Thank you, my friend WG. Mystery Alaska has one thing wrong with the script. Crow plays a sheriff. Trouble is Alaska has no sheriffs. Yeah, and he also plays a hockey coach, which Australia probably has no hockey coaches. So thank you for that, my friend. I wish I had my hockey videos lined up to play. I don't, but I do have something from... let's play something Scottish.
Scotland. For Scotland.
Sons of Scotland!
Welcome to Scotland.
Why not? It's got nothing to do with hockey or Alaska, but what the hell. Thanks for that, WG. You're a wonderful chap. We are going to do a bourbon and boarding. We talked about this Saturday. I'm really pushed for time. I'm not sure. I might have to let Brahma down and do it next Saturday, but we're going to do one. I've got a bunch of stuff here. I hope you guys are going to love looking at my collection. So I got on DVD the first 2 Pink Panther movies. Well, there's a caveat to that. I got the Pink Panther. Interesting thing about the Pink Panther, of course, is that it isn't really a Clouseau movie. Yes, Peter Sellers and Clouseau is in it, but the star is really David Niven. And the heist part, the Pink Panther part of it, the diamond, takes up a little more time than the amusing Clouseau interludes. Still, classic movie, classic Henry Mancini theme. Of course, they thought, well, okay, that was good. Everyone, the reactions to Peter Sellers' Clouseau were good, so they made a Pink Panther movie without the Pink Panther. A Shot in the Dark. A Clouseau standalone. But they introduced the Clouseau theme into that that great theme. And lots more Clouseau, of course, and also Herbert Lom as his chief inspector going mad because Clouseau's driving him mad. And the wonderful Elke Summer. And the nudist colony scene is hilarious. So another Blake Edwards comedy, the Henry Mancini theme. But you know, I've got Hey, Mrs. Flew, my collection once upon a time was enormous. I had an enormous set of movies. Like Shell had a whole room of them, and then gradually moving over time, lost all those stuff, sold stuff, gave stuff away. I got rid of a lot of VHS, converted it to digital and got rid of it. And I bitterly regret that now because I had some things I would consider to be extremely collectible, like all the OG Doctor Who VHSs. Hey, Rough Girl, I haven't seen you for ages. Nice to see you. To see you, nice. So everyone, I mean, I've got this movie in about 4 different formats, but for 99 cents, another DVD copy of Roadhouse, different cover from the one I already got. Special edition, which I think it means it's probably just got like an extra trailer on it or something. Look at that beefcake. Oh man, who doesn't like Swayze and Roadhouse? What a movie. And they're going to ruin it by making another one. Well, I assume they're going to ruin it. But so I thought, I've already got it, but what the hell? So, on the new Blu, you see, I'm buying a lot of DVDs in thrift stores because obviously people wanted to get rid of them. So you can pick up a lot of really good DVDs for a bargain. I've got a 1080p TV. It's quite old now. I don't have a 4K or any of that. Happy to buy Blu-rays. I can play those okay. Can't play anything above that. I've got some 4Ks and 4K steelbooks, but they usually come with a Blu-ray, so you can play that too. But given that a lot of the stuff I watch is fairly low resolution, anyway, the DVDs are still pretty good for me, a lot of them. Was it Samuel Light's birthday? My God, that man is a legend. Legend! We should pickle him so we don't lose him. Hey, Snowdub, hey, buddy. Where are all these people coming from on a Wednesday night? I thought this will just be me talking to myself. I'm so happy to see you all here. Equally here too. Yeah. So that was I got a pile of Blu-rays. Now these were all $3 or less. Some of them were even less than that. And there was an untapped mine of them that's rather out of the way thrift store I went to. First of all, and some of these are just not the greatest of movies, but they certainly look good on the 4K is a bit of a failure. I don't need it. I mean, I can't see in 4K. My eyesight's not that great. I'm getting old. 1080p is more than enough for me. So Superman Returns on Blu-ray. Not a bad movie. Fairly so-so, but still not bad. I mean, it's John Badham, Gene Hackman. Kevin Spacey. That's a pretty good movie for $3, on Blu-ray. Nothing to complain about. And I do like. I mean, when you look at it, it's Bryan Singer. I'm saying John Badham. I'm thinking of a completely different movie. Bryan Singer. Some Bad Hat Harry. Yeah, Brandon Ruth. Not bad, not bad. So Superman Returns. Snowdub, you are indeed a great supporter. You're all great supporters. I'm so glad to see you all here. Next one is a movie I absolutely freaking love. And I did have a copy already on digital. I used to have a DVD and stupidly got rid of it. The Quick and the Dead, or Instinct de Vengeance in the bilingual version. Sam Raimi, love this movie. Love it. It is freaking awesome. I mean, Crow and Hackman and a young DiCaprio and Sharon Stone is good in it too. What a freaking movie. I love the bit where he gives him the gun and it's like the revolver and the barrel's falling out. He just gives him one bullet. Great movie. Love that. Quick and the Dead. Hey, for $3, ain't going to argue with that. Another one that I already have in digital, but I thought I'll get the physical, Haywire. Now, I really like Haywire as a movie. Certainly, I love Gina Carano. But when you look at who else is in it, I mean, Bill Paxton, the legend that is Bill Paxton. It's just got a freaking awesome cast and a Steven Soderbergh movie. So possibly one of Soderbergh's best, one of my favorites, Haywire. Great action movie. I could watch this dozens of times. Love that movie. So it's nice for me to get a physical copy for $3. I've already got a copy of this movie, like at least twice on digital and on a DVD, but Rocky Balboa. You can never have enough Rocky in your life. So never give up, never surrender. No, it's a different, never give up, never stop believing. Who doesn't love Rocky? And I actually really like what he did with this one. I know the fight itself is, because of his age, I see what they did. I mean, you know why they did what they did with it, that the opponent, he couldn't have the same kind of fight as before it would have killed him. So, but yeah, I do love Rocky Balboa. Who doesn't love that? So Haywire, such a good film for Paxton. Yeah, Paxton's awesome in it. Equally, I don't think Gene Hackman has any bad roles, ever had any bad roles either. Right back to, was it Bonnie and Clyde? He was in way back. Just, I mean, Unforgiven. What can you say about Gene Hackman and Unforgiven? Everything, he was good in everything. Enemy of the State. Name a movie he was in, and no matter what the movie was like, he was awesome. We will miss that guy. I know he retired. Good for him, retiring a few years ago. Communists don't like Rocky. Well, that's not quite true, because at the end of Rocky IV, they came to love him. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Next up, again, a movie I've got, like, I don't know how many copies of, although I didn't have this particular Blu-ray copy of, is T2. I just love the cover, so I had to buy another copy of it because I didn't have this copy. Yeah, I got a couple. I got a completely different one there, which is a Blu-ray. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't keep track of the different versions, but this is not a bad. I just like the cover on this particular edition. Who doesn't like Arnold in T2? No matter what Arnold may have done with himself since, that movie is immortal. Or is it immoral? I don't know. Yeah, enemy of the state. That's so because of the colonoscopy stream I had with the second camera, like that. Enema of the State would probably be the title of that movie. Enemy of the State is a great movie. It's very prescient as well. Hope you're all having a good day, by the way. I didn't have an okay day. It was a bit knackering, but a lot going on at home. But I have it digitally. Now, another movie I absolutely love, because I love Jason Statham, and it's Statham with an F, Statham. There's no TH in that name. Statham is the transporteur. Heart-pounding action. I'm going to say it in a French-Canadian accent. I don't know why. Maybe because it's a Jean Reno And he's not even French Canadian, he's French, proper French, like Le Transporteur. I love this movie. I freaking love it. Again, this is a movie I could watch. I don't know how many times I could just keep watching it and watching it. It's just freaking awesome. I do have a copy on digital. I have a digital copy, but I wanted to get, and I used to have a physical copy, but God knows what happened to that one. So waiting to get that one back. Yes, absolutely agreed on all fronts. Front being the operative word. Yeah, T2 uses Guns N' Roses very effectively, and that whole sequence is just like I'm old enough to have seen it at the cinema, and I certainly wasn't young even then. And it just was like I can't get enough of this. I had to go back and see it again. I just couldn't get enough. Crank movies are not bad. I love it. I love a bit of Jason Statham. The Bank. I think there was a movie he made called The Bank Job. I'm right in saying, because he doesn't always do action. I mean, he's brilliant at it. Yeah, The Bank Job is a great movie if you've never seen it with Jason Statham, because it's based on a real heist of safety deposit boxes in a bank in London, but there was all sorts of famous people had shit in there. So they got the British Royal family had stuff in there. The British Security Services issued a notice to stop the press talking about this robbery because they didn't want people to know who was storing stuff in there. And Jason Statham plays the leader of the bank robbers, as it will. It's a pretty damn good movie. It's more of a drama than it is it's not an action movie at all. But it's even got a cameo by Mick Jagger in it. Blink and you'll miss him, but he is in it. Written by Dick Clement and Ian Lafreniere, who wrote loads of great British sitcoms back in the day, like The Likely Lads and Porridge and Auf Wiedersehen, Pet and Lovejoy. Fantastic stuff. Oh God, I can't even remember all the stuff they wrote. They were brilliant sitcom and comedy writers, but they wrote this great movie, The Bank Job. Check it out, Jason Statham. Check it out now. I don't even mind the death race. And now, those of you in the chat that may have seen the original Death Race movie with David Carradine and Sylvester Stallone was in a sporting role in that original one. I think it was David Carradine. I'm getting old. How would you compare it to the new one, the Jason Statham one? Just a question, just throwing that out there. Yeah, Jason Statham says, no, I mean. Yeah, I mean. It's not as bad as Ray Winston, I have to say. If you've ever seen, what's that Ray Winston movie where he the big rock lands in his swimming pool at the beginning? And he's, oh God. It's just gone right out of my head. The one where Gandhi there plays a villain and he's vicious in it. Anyway, that's Ray Winston. That's a great movie. Ian McShane's in it too. Can't remember the name of it. It's gone right out of my head. But yeah. It is quite dark looking, the new Death Race. It's but it is a bit slicker as well as the original, because obviously the original was more filmed back in the day. A lot of practical effects, obviously, but there's a bit more kind of modernistic sets in the new one. Hey, Salty. Thanks for leaving a comment on my Robbie Robertson video, mate. Good to see you, buddy. First thing that was unintentionally funny, yeah. Stallone's definitely in that one, I think. I seem to recall that. I didn't know nobody knew who he was at the time. He'd only done like one low-budget porn movie at that point. Which he laughs about that now. But he paid his rent, So we got Superman Returns earlier, and I already have obviously all the Superman, God forgive me, even Superman 4 digitally. And I got the original for $2 on a Blu-ray. The great, the fantastic Superman the movie. Again, I saw this at the cinema when it came out. I'm that old, and it's one of the most beautiful movies ever made, with one of the most beautiful messages. It's it's the Superman, not whatever they made poor Henry Cavill do. God love him, but this is Superman. I could watch this so many times. I've watched it dozens of times in my life. I'm not exaggerating as well. I mean, look at that. Doesn't that just look good? And again, the great Gene Hackman. Yeah, Mrs. Flew was 7, but I'm sure you were a very wonderful 7, though. Like, you're a lovely lady. I'm sure you were a lovely lass. And Salty. Oh, Christopher Reeve is Superman, exactly. Salty saw it with his grandpa in the theatre and it left an impression. It does. I mean, when have you seen a movie as uplifting as this in the last few years? I'm sure there might be one or two. I'm trying to think. I mean, there may be one or two of the Korean things I watch, but just everything about it is timeless. Beautiful movie. So I'll buy that for $3. I'll get away from the colonoscopy because I can't say that word. The colonoscopy. I'm Scottish. There's certain things we can't say. Colonoscopy. I think he's an actor. Colonoscopy. I'm pretty sure he's an actor. So a movie that I really, really love. I gotta put my glasses on here to read. Because first of all, and I haven't seen it yet, and I will. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. Old man brain freeze. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but I will see Oppenheimer. I've generally been a big fan of Christopher Nolan since I think Memento is the first one. The Prestige. Really love this movie. Again, it's this one actually. I find that not only is it a very clever movie, but it's got a lot of emotion in it. It's quite emotional. Christian Bale's character is there's a lot of heart and emotion in this one. It's a brilliant movie with a fantastic I hesitate to call it a twist, but yeah. So if you've never seen The Prestige, and I'm sure you all have because you're all very, very eloquent and well brought up people in my chat. So I'll just suck a little harder here, will I? No. Just look a little harder. I'm just kidding. I love you all. Colonoscopy, the famous Irish actor. Well, speaking of Irish actors,
I believe, Ken, that the balance shall tip in the favor of culture.
Love that clip. You get bonus points with me if you can tell me what that movie was. But yeah, Prestige, great movie. Check that one out if you've never seen it. I'm sure you all have. As I say, you're very, very, very well-educated people. Come on, who knows what that clip was from? Which movie? I await your answer. Okay, this Prestige. I think it does bear a second viewing, and without losing any impact, because there is quite a lot in it. It is quite a clever movie. There's a lot going on. The central performances are all brilliantly executed. And for Christopher Nolan, I mean, yeah, we know he does a lot of these big budget stuff. I mean, I a lot of people don't like Christopher Nolan. I personally think Inception is one of my top 10 movies of all time. I adore it. So he is good at great big budget spectacle. But also he can do movies like Memento, Prestige, the Al Pacino one, Insomnia, where there really isn't as much of that going on, not much of the flash, much more of the human. So how many movies do I own? I don't think it's 1,500, mate. I mean, it depends. I mean, if we're counting digital too, I mean, it's probably, I don't know, 700 or 800. Actually, that might not quite be true because I haven't counted the digital ones. I mean, I've got hundreds of files of movies that I've either bought or downloaded physically. I used to have, as I say, an entire room. A room, as Peter Sellers would say, I have a room that was wall-to-wall media. That was 4 houses ago when I had an enormous house. So I don't think I got as many as you, Snow. I've certainly seen countless thousands. I forget. Interstellar, I keep them stored on the. Well, of course, E. Clay, neither you nor I are endorsing this kind of behavior. Of course, we're just making a joke about that. Horror is the biggest genre. Well, I've actually got a couple of horrors to talk about in just a minute, and I'm not not talking about certain pop stars. I'm not. See, I've never been the hugest horror fan. I'm a bit of a gothic horror man myself. I loved old Hammer movies. I love the 1970s horrors like The Exorcist, Devil Within Her, the Italian stuff, the Dario Argento stuff. I'm more of that kind of horror. Wicker Man. I'm not a fan of the slasher. Well, I say that. I did like the first Nightmare on Elm Street, first Friday 13th. They just went on too long after that. And I love the Evil Dead movies. Not a big fan of the Saw stuff or any of these kind of slashery, blood and gore type cut 'em up things. I like more chilling stuff. Hey, WG, buddy. Thanks for being here, mate. Good to see you. We'll see you again soon. So that's my kind of horror. But yeah, I wanted to mention what Davina said, which was In Bruges. Somebody got it. It's In Bruges. Yeah, Ekley. Just tip over into the culture. I love Ray Fiennes in that as well. He plays real. It's funny. It's the weirdest movie, but it's a great movie. In Bruges, fucking Bruges. What's nothing going on in fucking Bruges? I'm bored. I want to go home. Interstellar may have been over ambitious. I love Interstellar, and I do find it the father-daughter thing very emotional. Maybe that's just me. I get how it wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea. I do like science fiction, though. I'm not a big fan of Tenet, though, because, quite frankly, who could really understand what the fuck was going on in there? I love the idea. I just think the execution and the story was terrible. And the idea of sort of going backwards in time, but literally backwards, is great. But, Interstellar could have been 2 movies. That's true. So anyway, a couple of movies I did get. Again, I got these in other formats, but I didn't have them on Blu-ray. Lethal Weapon 1 and 2. So who doesn't love a bit of Lethal Weapon 1 and 2? Diplomatic Immunity. So it's great to get these on a Blu-ray copy as opposed to just DVDs. Love it. Love them. Love the old buddy cop thing. Recently, I talked a lot about Freebie and the Bean, which was Alan Arkin. When I did an Alan Arkin tribute. Alan Arkin, James Caan, possibly the father of all buddy cop movies. And it's funny, I was doing some research for the Rock and Roll Rowdies show tomorrow. And part of that is going to be talking about iconic venues and the Glasgow Apollo, which is a famous Scottish concert hall where basically it's the most. It's not there anymore. It's a shame, but a lot of rock bands played there, and a lot of other acts played there in the 40s and 50s or whatever. And it was famous for bottling off people they didn't like. If a comedian come on and told a joke they didn't like, that was it. He was dead. But it was a cinema too, and the picture I found that I'm going to show tomorrow has got in the cinema part of it, Freebie and the Bean is the movie that's showing. So weird synchronicity there. The end was a bit cheese, I'm sure. Yeah, well, I like a bit of cheese now and again. So final of thrift store stuff, I've got a few more things I wanted to share. Is a movie that I've always rated really highly, and I do like Timothy Oliphant is Hitman, which I thought was a creditable movie. I'm a big fan of the games because I like stealth type games like that. So, hey, somebody popped in and out. Hey, Bush. Good to see you, buddy. And Red Shirt, sorry. Good to see you, Red Shirt. Good to see you, Bush. Bush. You guys clearly have got no lives if you're hanging out with me on a Wednesday night. And this kind of impromptu thing isn't normally me. I like a bit more structure. But yeah, I actually enjoyed this movie, and I do like Timothy Olyphant. I like the other one with Rupert Friend as well. That wasn't so bad too. But Dougray Scott, of course, is in this. Good Scotsman. At least he has a decent role in this, not like Mission Impossible 2. Enough said about Mission Impossible 2. It's possibly one of my least favourite films called Mission Impossible 2. Right, so what else did I get that wasn't this stuff was in a normal store and it was on sale. Oh, The Order. Now that's a game I haven't thought about for a while. I did play it, and I actually was quite excited to get it when it came out, and I got like the pre-order. I don't pre-order any games now, but then I did because you got poster, and I got this, and I got that. I thought that game had huge potential, and the bits of action that were done were executed really well. It just there wasn't enough of it. You know, it was like half the game it could have been, and the bits that were there were great, but it just wasn't enough. The Order 1886. It was very disappointing that, beautiful, but way too short, in my opinion. I would have absolutely loved to have seen that extended and be a real in-depth game and a little bit more areas to move around in, a little bit more action in terms of the combat and so on, because it was really, really nice. Right, what did I get today? That was new, but not new, but on sale. The John Badham Dracula, and I really like Frank Langella in this. Some people don't. Some people don't like this movie. They certainly compare it unfavorably to, let's say, the Gary Oldman Dracula. Me, I like it. I think it's a great movie, and I got this for, I don't know, $4 or $5, brand new. And let's face it, I mean, Laurence Olivier, it's not often you get, I think he was getting near the end of his career then, probably end of his life. So I was really pleased to pick a copy of this up because I didn't have a copy in any format of this Dracula. It's a beautiful movie. I really like it. I do like John Badham stuff. I have to use a magnifying glass to read shit nowadays because I'm so Donald Pleasance and Kate Nelligan. I'd forgotten she was in that. A John Badham picture, yeah. Not a bad movie. I have no idea whether, I can't remember I saw it at the time. I can't remember if it was a success or not. But so that was a nice little pickup. Talking of horror, I was really pleased to get this because getting Korean movies, this next one, Korean movies on physical media in Canada is not that easy. There's 2 or 3 of the really well-known ones you can get. Train to Busan, Parasite, maybe The Handmaiden. Can't remember which one that is. The Host sometimes. This is a movie called The Divine Fury. Korean movie. I don't know. A few years old, not super old. I've got a digital copy. It's not a Blu-ray. It's just a DVD. I was really surprised to see this. It's in the bargain bins. I mean, ooh, great. Yeah, the Korean region-free Blu-rays are a little bit pricey. I've got a couple of them on the way. I try to just get 1 or 2 at a time. I'm actually trying to get some Korean movie posters to go up on the wall of certain movies like The Host and 1 or 2 other things. And some of the stuff I like Wang Young-min's Deliver Us from Evil and Battleship Island, stuff like that. But Divine Fury. Now, so if you're into movies about exorcism. We talked about The Exorcist earlier. That's the subject matter of this. It's an exorcist movie about exorcisms. I don't know if I can say that any other way. Or you're like, hey, Tim, good to see you, buddy. So, yeah, I picked this up for, I don't know, $5 or something, sitting in the bargain bins. And I was very pleased to see it. I was kind of hoping it was a Blu-ray at first, but it wasn't. It's a DVD. But now, to get any movie, especially a Korean movie like that, Physical Media, and one that I enjoyed when I watched, is great. So 2 more things I got today. Again, this was like $4.95 or something in the bargain bins. It's a DVD, Smokey and the Bandit 40th Anniversary Edition DVD, not Blu-ray, but it was like $4.95. When Bert was king, when Bert was at his peak of his powers, absolutely, and Sally Field was lovely in this. Absolutely, this is just a granddaddy of car chase movies. It's classic. Hell yeah! I mean, Bert was the man. I'm old enough to have seen this at the cinema when it came out, and I just loved it. And the sequel, and movies like White Lightning. Bert was the man at the time. Longest Yard, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And Jerry Reed, country star Jerry Reed, is his sidekick, of course. And had some great music in it. So yeah, I don't know if you know people that have never seen this movie and they go, oh, I'm not watching that, it's old. Funny, great physical car stunts. Classic Jackie Gleason. Yeah, I've got a Jackie Gleason clip in my cult comedy crew profile, not in this. I'm just using my default profile here, so I don't think I can play that damn thing. Oh shit, it's the one where he's in the wrecked car and I don't like that kind of language in front of my boy. I don't have that clip here. I don't know what happens if I switch profiles in the middle of a live stream, whether it just wipes me out or not. Smoke. Oh, you would love it. Oh, but yeah, he I think he came to regret that Playgirl center spread, but it's hilarious at the same time. Yeah, Davina, you should watch Smokey and the Bandit. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun movie, and Bert is just. I mean, if you could bottle charm, you could bottle charm and sell it because Bert's got it. You know, Hooper, great movie as well. Yeah, some great car stunts in that. Yeah, it must have really boosted those sales. Oh yeah, I love those movies. And for me, as what was I, probably at the time, about 10-year-old Scottish kid, that was it. Everything that was great about America was going to see a movie like that and thinking, oh God, that looks so good. Doesn't America look so great, you know? I love you, America. Don't care what anyone says about you. Okay, I'll save the best till last. Well, for me, the best. So this, hey, buddy, good to see you. Thanks for popping by. Oh, the snow, yeah. Buddy Flick was, yeah. Naked Bert. Yeah, Bert's just, yeah, he was the man. There was a time he was the man, him and Clint. Of course, they had teamed up for City Heat, which didn't really get a good rep. I thought it was okay, but so the final thing I got, and this was on sale for something like $10. I think it was $10. This is the animated Doctor Who Power of the Daleks. Now, this is hugely significant for me I was so excited to see this sitting there on this shelf of stuff that they wanted to get rid of. Let me show this. So this is Patrick Troughton's first Doctor Who story after the regeneration from William Hartnell. One of the ones that was scrapped and lost. Obviously, luckily, they had the audio. They had the telecine and some other bits and pieces. The snaps they took from directly from TV. Newly animated in black and white and color with the original soundtracks. I am just stoked, and I am going to sit down tomorrow and watch this from start to finish in one go. I love Patrick Troughton. He's my Doctor. He was my first Doctor, and you never forget your first Doctor. And I recently got the animated Abominable Snowman, which was the first one I remember watching. This I probably watched, but I was maybe only 3-4 years old. This is going to kick ass. Patrick Troughton. And then Ben and is it Ben and Polly? Yes. And then Annika Wills and Michael Craze. I can't wait to see this. Now it's animated, but I don't care because the animation they've done in these is great. So this is when we talk about classic OG Doctor Who. This is it. So Patrick Troughton's first story. It's a Dalek one. The Power of the Daleks. I don't know what to say. I was so stoked to get this. Look at that even. It's got Patrick Troughton's TARDIS console on it. Anyway, sorry, Divinity. I noticed just what you'd said. The Firebird, the Pontiac Firebird. I don't know. I mean, we were living with Ford Anglias and Austin Morris, whatever's in Britain. We didn't have flash cars like that. We didn't have muscle cars. We had sports cars. I'll come back to the Doctor in a minute. We had. I'm thinking of the late 60s, early 70s. The 70s particularly. My family were in the car sales business. Some of them, well, my direct family, my father. My brother, who's a bit older than me, he had things like Jensen's, and he had Triumph Spitfire, MGB GT. He had I'll remember the name of it in a minute. My dad had a Jaguar XGS at one point. So they had that kind of stuff, yeah. Yeah, sorry. I love you. Thank you for being here. Sorry, you were flying by. Yeah, it was a flyby. Yeah, so we did have some flash sports cars, Triumphs, MGBs, Jensens, or something. The Jaguars. My dad had a lot of Jaguars, and he usually bought them and sold them on again. Though that was his business. He preferred the more leisurely, like had Mercedes Benz and Jaguar X type Jaguars, and he did all that stuff. The more luxury stuff, he'd buy them for a few weeks and sell them on, just so we could go on holiday in them or whatever. So we were quite the thing. But my brother had a lot of sports cars. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the particular one that he absolutely loved that he had. It'll come back to me. But anyway, probably got photographs. My first car, which I got in 1980, was a Ford Capri. So there was probably a Mercury equivalent of that similar car. Kind of a little bit sporty looking, but not under the hood. Then I had a Ford Capri 2.5 liter Ghia. That was had a bit more muscle to it later. So, but nothing compared to those American cars. No, fix it again, Tony's. We're talking Swiss Tony here from The fast show, Swiss Tony. I like to treat my cars like I treat my women. Or is it the other way? I like to treat my women like I treat my cars. But yeah, looking at this, just the last loving look at this. I guess I know Salty will appreciate his Doctor Who. I just the very fact they've done that TARDIS on the discs themselves. Can't wait to watch that. Doctor Who, Power of the Daleks. So that was my haul from today. Not bad, eh? Not bad. It was all right. Know what I mean? Stifle. So, yeah. What's been going on? I hope you're all having a good evening. Thank you for being here. I cannot believe we've done an hour just me showing you a bunch of DVDs and Blu-rays. Is this how people do YouTube? They just go live and talk. Probably that is how they do it. So let me cancel that screen. I just want to share a couple of things I've been doing with you. Yeah, it's a great look. It's at the TARDIS console now. I opened up and I went, "Ooh, that's nice." Yeah, I won't be able to watch it going round though. It'll be in the machine. Top Gun with helicopters. It is. It's a good-looking Doctor Who set. I'm trying to get more of the Patrick Troughton stuff. I used to have a lot of it in VHS. I had all those OG Doctor Who VHSs that they released in the 1990s, and God forgive me for giving them away because I won't forgive myself. Share screen. So apparently I'm able to share screens. There we go. So just as Salty very kindly watched and left, and others have watched the Robbie Robertson tribute I did earlier today. I better not let it play. That was a sad loss. Absolutely sad loss. Stop doing that. There we go. So please, if you get the chance, check that out. I mean, I can't do the guy justice. I mean, a career like that, I think, and I really didn't have the time to do the guy justice because you could do 2 or 3 hours talking about his career. I just wanted to really hit the fact that he was so influential. But also recently did a great review of a Korean movie called Ransomed, which is really, it's a brilliant movie. I went to see it at the cinema, the first Korean movie I've ever seen in a cinema. I've always just bought them or downloaded them before or watched them on streaming. There's another one coming up soon called The Moon, which I am going to go see, and I'm really looking forward to a science fiction movie. Ransomed was great, and a couple of my favorite Korean stars in it. I've actually had some nice likes and so on from Showbot, Wellgo USA, who distribute these movies. Liked a couple of my tweets about this movie, so just trying to attract their attention a bit to get more information on screenings. There's also another movie coming out this month. I'm going to see a Korean movie called Concrete Utopia, which I will be doing a preview of. It stars Lee Byung-hun, who's one of my favorites. How Deaf and Straight. Nick, my friend, you missed. I enjoyed your stream earlier, by the way. You missed my parade of physical media today that I bought today. You may or may not have appreciated all of those, but we had a lot of fun talking about them. And then, of course, the SCTV stream we did on Monday was just hilarious. I don't think I laughed as much as Toxic Tuesday last night, which is possibly one of the funniest we've ever done. I mean, you got to go back and watch this. Last night it was hard target. We were split. If I hadn't been wearing a corset, I would have split my sides. It was that funny, the conversation in that last night. It was so funny. But yeah, SCTV, we did a great stream on that, and I'd forgotten just how funny those guys could be. Just hilarious. So I want to show up one. If I could just throw one image up, if you haven't seen, if you weren't there for SCTV, and I know some of you were, and I thank you for being there. One image which just absolutely made me burst out laughing when I saw it when I was prepping for the show. Harold Ramis, there it is, was this. And a lot of people wouldn't have seen this because it was on one of the first Canadian season, which wasn't syndicated widely even in Canada. So I'm going to show this. It was his plainclothes Mountie. I mean, they didn't do so much Canadian themed stuff, but when they did, they nailed it. Because he's trying to blend in with people in the street as a playing. He's on the horse the whole time during the whole sketch. And that's what the genius of that show is. It was kind of in between SNL and Monty Python. It sat in the middle somewhere. It had a lot of Python-esque stuff. Yeah, Toxic Tuesday last night. Everybody go back and watch it if you weren't watching it live at the last night. Is absolutely hilarious. We honestly, I was exhausted by the end of it, laughing so much. But yeah, Plainclothes Mountie. I actually didn't. There was a clip I didn't play because I forgot to play it. I'm going to play a couple of those SCTV clips now with your indulgence, if you all don't mind sticking around for 5 more minutes, and I can play 2 of the clips that I didn't get the chance to play. So because I just ran out of time. There's so much stuff we could have done. So here is a clip of one of the commercials they used to do. And this is a commercial for spray-on socks. So I gotta play this. This is your bonus cult comedy crew. Go.
Ooh, drop around the ankles.
Drop around the ankles? Hey, Fred Astaire, come on with me.
It always happens, Greg. These darn socks just won't stay up.
Here, try this.
Spray on?
Yeah.
How does it work?
Simple, spread right on your feet. It comes in 4 great colors. Chocolate chip, vanilla, lime green, and argyle.
Say, even real socks don't cling that close.
Oh God, they were funny. That's a good one. Yes, the defense lawyers rest their. The defenstration rests. Defenstration rests. One more, which is hockey related. I'm gonna play this now. I might even play it in the next bourbon and boarding, but you guys will get a sneak preview. Forgive me while I look for it. Ooh, that's why I didn't play this other one, because I'd misfiled it. So let's have a look. Full videos. You wouldn't believe my intricate filing system here. I think it might be this one. If it's not, let's try it anyway.
I'm Guy Lafleur.
I'm Daryl Sittler.
And I use a Daryl Sittler hockey stick.
I use Daryl Sittler hockey stick. Cut!
Take 2. I'm Guy Lafleur.
I'm Daryl Sittler.
And I use a Daryl Sittler hockey stick.
I use Guy Lafleur hockey stick. Hey, Guy, how about some cornerbacks, eh?
All right, sure thing, Daryl. Oh, boy, I bet these are good, huh?
Oh,
Got
yeah.
real malt flavor.
Smells good, too. Well, I can't chew these things. Hard. Cut! Sorry. They're hard on my gums.
You lose your plate, Daryl?
Yeah, I lost my plate in Boston.
You lost your dentures in Boston. Why don't you push it down with some milk and mush it into your puss? All right. Cornerbacks, take 3. I'm Guy Lafleur.
I'm Daryl Sittler.
And I use a Daryl Sittler hockey stick.
I use a Guy Lafleur hockey stick. Hey, Gee, how about some cornerbacks,
An
eh?
excellent idea.
All right, eh?
Let's try some of this. Oh, it looks yummo.
Sure is. Smells so good, too. See what's going on. It's got pour de sang. Some French. I don't speak French. I'm sorry.
What's your problem? Look at it in English. It's on English.
Well, what the hell's it got two languages on it for crying out loud? I only speak English.
Because it's a bilingual country.
It is not bull, my friend. One language, one goddamn song. God save Queen.
God save the Queen.
Hi, I'm Guy Lafleur. And I use a Darryl Sidler hockey stick.
Guy Lafleur, I can stick it. Guy wants to play it.
Yeah, sure thing, Darryl. Hey, this stuff looks A-okay, huh?
Yeah, sure does.
Boy, I could try some malt flavor and everything.
And some Pepsi-Cola with it?
What's that supposed to be, Darryl?
Oh, come on, it's a joke. Come on!
The glory that was SCTV. See, that's where they did do some Canadian themed stuff, and they did. And it's funnier when if you've seen some of those old commercials that guys like Guy Lafleur did. They weren't necessarily the slickest guys in front of the camera doing a commercial, but hey, Lady Balefire, those were old. That's an old SCTV clip, probably sourced from VHS. It's a very interesting show to try and get a hold of because there is quite a bit of it is not available on physical media. Some of it, in fact, are sketches that are completely unavailable. They were only broadcast once, and then they weren't put on any of the repackaged stuff that was syndicated, so they didn't end up being seen unless someone caught it with their VHS at the time, not to be seen. So there's stuff I wanted to play on Monday that I couldn't find. So yeah, great stuff. Brilliant, brilliant guys. Very funny. Yeah, hi to you, Lady Balefire. Good to see you. So we're gonna wrap it up anyway, I think. Yeah, I mean, I was laughing my head off at some of that stuff. We'll definitely do a round 2 of SCTV. It was I only really scratched the surface. It was funny how the Sittler and there, John Candy's Darryl Sittler references. It's only one language, English. You know, parodying the whole. Everything has to be in French as well here. So, they didn't always do Canadian, but when they did, hey Bush. Right, yeah. So I gotta get wrapped up and go to bed because I'm knackered. But I really enjoyed talking to y'all. Thanks for hanging out, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I should do more impromptu streams. That means I got to go and buy more stuff in thrift stores. And for those who didn't join early, the first one I got was Mike Oldfield's Family Man single, famously covered by Hall & Oates. Check out both versions. Yeah. So anyway, hope you all have enjoy the rest of your evenings. Try and, if you can, join the Rock and Roll Rowdies tomorrow on their channel. Well, I'll be hosting their weekly Rowdies live at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, so it's noon Pacific. I'll be hosting a show there. Tomorrow they're going to be talking about some of the iconic venues they've worked at with bands. So Marquee Club, Royal Albert Hall, Madison Square Garden, the Budokan, the Fillmore's East and West, and so on and so on. They've got some really great tales from the work in those gigs and those arenas, because these guys and those venues, those guys have worked everywhere in the world with various bands. So that should be a lot of fun. Love those guys. It's 1 p.m. tomorrow on the Rock and Roll Rowdies channel. Apparently I can do that, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. So I certainly kept all the records of stuff I've bought to show on these streams. So good night to you, Davina. Good night, E. Clay. Good night, Steve, buddy. Good to see you. Good night, Bush. Somebody's wearing knickers, not necessarily me. Salty. Good to see you, buddy. We must stream again soon. Thanks for being here. Lady Balefire, good to see you. Just another red shirt. Good to see you, my friend. Stephen, buddy. Good to see you, brother. I know I'm going to forget somebody, and I apologize in advance if I do. I'm scrolling. WG was here earlier, and thank you to WG for being here and for his super chat. Appreciate it. Nick, brother, thank you for being here. Appreciate it very much, and thank you for letting me be a part of Toxic Tuesday. It's a great show. You've created a great thing there. Action Genes, yeah. Weight fights and Action Genes. And scrolling back. I'm again sorry if I forgot anybody. Anti-derivative Jill was here for a while. Jill, I'm sorry I missed you earlier. Oh, thanks for being here. Good to see you. Snowdub, brother. Great to see you. Going back in time. I'm traveling back. Stephen was here. Stephen Ransom, good to see you, buddy. It's always a big supporter. Great guy. Tim's Talk, good to see you, buddy. You're all wonderful people with exquisite taste. Exquisite. And forgive me, anyone else that I may have missed. So apologies for that. But thank you all for being here. So yeah, see you all tomorrow, I hope, on the Rowdies. Till then, have a good night. Sleep tight and don't let the bugs bite. Keep on rocking.